Hey guys, how you going? My name is Dom and today I'm going to be showing you 5 JavaScript string methods which you probably didn't know. Alright, so jumping right into the first one here, this one is called startsWith, and as the name suggests, it allows you to test whether or not a string starts with a particular sequence of characters. Okay, so for example, I've got my string right here, it says, hey guys, how's it going? So if I drop down here, I can say console.log and I can pass in my string .startsWith. Now this method is going to return true or false. I can say, for example, starts with, then I can say capital H-E-Y. So of course, hey. If I was to now save this and go down in the console and I run my script, we can see that we get true right down there. This is going to be case sensitive, which means if I then replace this capital H with a lowercase h, save it, do it again, we now get false. You can also pass in a second argument here, which basically just lets you specify where you want your search to begin. For example, if I pass in, let's just do 4 right here. Now it's going to check for hey, beginning with the 4th position. So if I make this back to the capital H, if this 4 wasn't here, we'd expect this to return true. But this search now is beginning from the 4th character. It's going 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and this search is going to start at G. If I run this, we can see we get false. If I change this to be guys, so the second word here, save it, try it again, we get true. It's also worth mentioning that there's an equivalent or a similar method called ends with. So we can just say right down here, ends with, then we can say, let's just do going. So now we expect true as the string ends with going. And there we go. The next one is called padStart. Okay, so this one here is actually super useful and it allows you to essentially pad the beginning of a string by a set amount of characters and a particular character. Okay, so it's going to be much easier to explain this with an example. Okay, so I've got my order code right here. It says 23A. So now, if I was to go down here, I can say console.log and I can say ordercode.padStart. Then I can pass in here the number of characters which I want my string to be. So we're going to convert this order code into a 6-character string and basically fill up the remaining characters with a particular token. Okay, so if I was to say 6 here, we are now guaranteeing a 6-character length string. Then I can say something like 0, which means that essentially my string is going to be padded in the very beginning of that string with full of zeros until it reaches 6 characters. So if I save this and run this script, we can see that we get 00023A. Of course, being 6 characters, and basically the remaining of those spaces are filled with that 0 character. If I was to make this 23AB now and run it again, we can see that we now get only 2 zeros because of course the last character is filled up with that B which we specified. Now there is once again a very similar method called padEnd and works in the exact same way, but this time it's going to pad out the end of your string instead. So if I save this and run this once again, we get 23AB and then 2 zeros at the end as opposed to at the start. And that is your padStart and padEnd method. Next up, we've got includes. Okay, so includes allows you to test whether or not a string includes a certain sequence of characters. Okay, so it's very simple. It's going to return true or false. So for example, right here, I've got this 2012 Honda Civic as my string. I can go down here and I can say console.log and I'll say car.includes, then pass through here Honda. Okay, so it's going to tell me true or false if my string includes Honda. If I run this script, we can see that we do in fact get true, quite self-explanatory. If I make this a lowercase h, once again similar to the starts with, it's going to return false because of course it is case sensitive. And it also allows you to pass in a position to begin from, just like the first one we saw. So if I make this back to Honda, then I say inside here position 12. So position 12 is the capital C right up here. So it's going to give me false because of course the search begins at Civic and then onwards. So of course Honda is not at the end of that string. So that is your includes method. This next one is called search. Okay, so the search method works in a very similar fashion to the index of method, where it returns -1 for an unmatched index, but this one here allows you to pass in regular expressions as well as standard strings. Okay, so for example, we've got this string right here. It says PS5 DualSense controller. So we're going to search for a particular sequence of characters, then look at regular expressions. Okay, so I'm going to say console.log right here. I'm going to pass through game controller. Then I'm going to say .search. Okay, so I'm going to search for the string PS5. Okay, so it's going to tell me the index of where it finds PS5. If I run this script, we can see that of course we get 0 because PS5 is at the first or the 0 position in my string. Okay, but we can also pass through regular expressions, and this is where the search method shines. Okay, so for example, if I want to find where the number or the digits is in this string, I can pass through a regular expression right here. I can say \d, and of course this in regex is going to search for digits. Okay, so passing through a d right here, and save this and go and run the script again, we get 2. So of course 0, 1, 2, position 2, giving us that 5, of course, our digit. So that is where it's really powerful. Now, like I mentioned earlier, it's going to return -1 if it cannot find your match. Okay, so for example, if I pass in something like let's do dcode inside this, and we can run it, and of course we get -1. So of course you can just simply check for that, greater than -1 in your code for your searches, and that is the search method right there. This last one is ridiculously simple. The repeat method allows you to repeat your string a given number of times. Okay, so I've got this string right here. It says my name is dcode. If I then say console.log and I say my name.repeat and I pass in 5 right here, we can see upon saving we get dcode repeated 5 times. Very straightforward, and that is your repeat method right there. And that is all for today. If you guys enjoyed, drop a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.